McAlden and her accomplices, her 17-year-old son and his 16-year-old friend, were involved in a triple murder dubbed the House of Blood in Cross Hill, Glasgow on the 17th of October 2004. An argument erupted between Edith and her boyfriend David Gillespie, and suddenly Edith stabbed Gillespie's thighs repeatedly, and severing a femoral vein that caused him to bleed to death. McAllen panicked and phoned her son John for help. He soon arrived with his 16-year-old friend Jamie by taxi. McAllen convinced David's flatmate and landlord Ian Mitchell to pay for the taxi, to which he did. When John realised Ian was a witness, John fatally stabbed him and kicked his head repeatedly, causing his brain to bleed heavily. The other flatmate, Anthony Coyle, locked himself in his bedroom. John and Jamie used a drill to remove the door locks, and Coyle was beaten to death with a golf club. 2 hours later, at 3 a.m, McAllen went to a neighbour's door and claimed something happened at Ian Mitchell's flat. She begged him to check, and once he seen the mess of the hallway, he phoned the emergency services. He later told the press that the walls and floors were covered in blood, and the flat was known as the House of Blood from then on. When the police and paramedics arrived, they found McAllen alone and clinging to Gillespie's body, screaming at him to wake up. The next day, she was charged with murder at Glasgow Sheriff Court. During the investigation, the police speculated that McAllen didn't in fact act alone. There must have been 2 or 3 strong men involved because of the amount of blood in the flat. It was impossible to be precise about the details of the violence that had happened. In May 2005, McAllen, her son John and his friend Jamie Gray appeared at Glasgow High Court, all denied murdering all 3 victims. The prosecution QC claimed that the victims had been beaten with knives, metal files, a belt and pieces of wood, and hit with a bottle, punched, stabbed and stamped on the head, and had boiling water poured on them. All 3 defendants changed their pleas mid-trial. John admitted he killed Mitchell, Jamie admitted he killed Coyle, and Edith admitted killing Gillespie. On the 29th of June, McAllen was sentenced to life with an understanding that she was to serve her sentence until at least 2018. Her son John and his friend were given a minimum of 12 years imprisonment.